Yay, NASCAR season's back in only a couple of days. Oh! My mistake. Hey there, race fans. It's Race Day Top 5 with me, Frank 5. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2021. We all survived 2020. Hallelujah. And you know what 2021 means? A new NASCAR season is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season is only a couple of days away from kicking off with the 63rd running of the Daytona 500. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got dynasties beginning, we've got new faces in new places, we got brand new teams, we got brand new racetracks, and a new but familiar face added to one of the broadcast booths for one of the television crews this year. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. What to expect for 2021. Number 1, Chase Elliott, now a NASCAR Cup Series champion after he finally captured the long-awaited Cup Championship last year in the 2020 season, a season that was dealt with COVID and a lot of other issues, hardly any practice or qualifying. Chase Elliott made the most of it by having a incredible performance in the postseason, winning 3 out of the 10 races, including 2 dominant wins in the last 2 races of the season at Martinsville and the Championship 4 race at Phoenix, which allowed him to win the Bill France Cup, which they now call it as the NASCAR Trophy. Elliott, Alan Gustafson, Hendrick Motorsports put it all together last year, an incredible performance. And now, folks, the Chase Elliott dynasty has officially begun. We've been waiting for a long time to see one of the most popular drivers of the sport take us to a whole new level. And I felt like last year at the end of the season when Elliott won the championship, we had begun to start onto the positive terms of a great NASCAR era about to begin. And now this season, Chase Elliott's coming in as the Cup champion. A little bit of pressure on his shoulders for this season, honestly, but I believe he can live up to the potential as the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion, because there's a lot of racetracks this upcoming season that are going to benefit Chase Elliott, which I'll get into a little bit later. We got a lot of competitors that will be going after Chase Elliott for the championship, but one thing that Elliott would like to do this year is to try to win some of the big crown jewel events. Elliott, we all know his father, Bill Elliott, has won the Daytona 500 twice. He's won the Brickyard 400 before. He's won the Southern 500 before. Chase Elliott has yet to win any of these races. He almost won the Coca-Cola 600 last year until a late race yellow prevented him from getting to victory circle. This year's a big year for Chase Elliott to take a big step forward as the patriarch of NASCAR, as far as the young guns and as far as one of our top competitors of the sport. I believe this year he will get it done. I expect him to win at least more than 4 races this season. Obviously last year he won 5. I would expect Chase Elliott to win at least 4, 5, 6, maybe. I wouldn't even be shocked if he won 7 races this year, because that's how good Chase Elliott is. That's how good Hendrick Motorsports is right now. I expect Chase Elliott to have a very solid 2021 season this year. Number 2, new faces and new places. Oh my goodness gracious, my brain is scrambling with all these new names and new places. I can't even put into words, but I'm going to. Let's start with Hendrick Motorsports. We all know Chase Elliott, William Bowyer will stay in their normal rides like they were last year. Now, we have a new successor to the 48 car after Jimmie Johnson retired at the end of the 2020 season. It's Alex Bowman. Yes, Alex Bowman isn't leaving Hendrick Motorsports. He's staying at Hendrick. He's just switching numbers. He and Greg Ives will move over to the 48 car. They've already released the new Allied paint scheme, which looks really good and all purple. It looks great. Alex Bowman is due for a breakout year this year as well. He's won the last 2 seasons, but only 1 race a year. I expect Alex Bowman to win more than 1 race this year, especially now he's taking over the reins of one of our most successful NASCAR drivers in the history of the sport, who is now going to be driving IndyCar races on the street and road courses this year. And I wish best of luck to Jimmie Johnson in those races. Alex Bowman is expected to take a big step forward this year, like Chase Elliott, as the reigning Cup champion. And I believe Alex Bowman can live up to those expectations, because last year he made the playoffs and he made it to the round of 8, and he almost had a chance to go to Homestead, because in that last race to make it to Homestead at Martinsville, he was in the top 5 all day, and it looked like he had winning speed at one point until, obviously, Chase Elliott just dominated the whole event. And then the 4th Hendrick entry this year will be piloted by none other than Kyle Larson. Yes, Kyle Larson is back in NASCAR. If y'all don't know the main story, Kyle Larson drove the first 4 races with Chip Ganassi last year, then COVID hit, and during COVID, Kyle Larson was caught for saying a racial slur on one of the iRacing events that he was competing on. NASCAR heard about that, Chip Ganassi heard about that, and therefore Kyle Larson was fired from Ganassi a couple of days later after the incident was leaked. Larson has issued an apology. He did it more than once. He did it in a video earlier after the incident. then in a letter, and then a long video towards the end of the 2020 season when he wasn't allowed to drive because he was suspended by NASCAR. Larson apologized and says, I own up to my mistakes and I'm going to become a better person and I'm going to learn from these mistakes. And Rick Hendrick fully believes in Kyle Larson, that he has signed him to drive for the 4th Hendrick entry this year, not the 88. Hendrick's bringing back the 5 car. We haven't seen that number since Casey Kane drove it in 2017, and that year he drove it, he won the Brake Car 400. This is a big year for Kyle Larson to redeem himself, get behind his demons from last year, and put himself in a position to be one of the stars. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports is loaded with young talent. Elliott, Bowyer, Bowman, and now Kyle Larson, which we all thought at one point Kyle Larson would be going to Hendrick Motorsports after Jimmy Johnson announced his retirement, but we didn't expect him to be going to the 4th Hendrick entry, which was then the 88, now the 5. But this is a big opportunity for Kyle Larson, and I fully believe that Kyle Larson will bounce back and will make amends for his mistake last year. I truly believe in Kyle Larson. I truly, truly do. Then, speaking of the car that Kyle Larson used to drive, is now being piloted by none other than Ross Chastain. Yes, Ross Chastain's finally getting the opportunity he deserves in the NASCAR Cup Series, competing at one of the top levels in a competitive team for Chip Ganassi Racing. We all figured if Kyle Larson were to leave Hendrick Motorsports after the incident last year that Chastain would succeed Kyle Larson for 2021. Lo and behold, it's true. He's going to be paired up with Kurt Busch as a teammate. That's a great teammate to have with all the experience. I expect Ross Chastain to be a dark horse to make the playoffs this season. I truly believe that he can win some races and be competitive at those events. Of course, last year the 42 car, after Larson got fired, when we resumed, it was all Matt Kenseth out of retirement driving it, and it didn't really go well. So, Ross Chastain, I can't wait to see what you do with this opportunity in the 42 car. Then in Stewart-Haas Racing, Clint Bowyer has officially retired, and I'll tell you a little bit later about where he's going for 2021. Now we have a new face in Stewart-Haas, and that is Chase Briscoe, who drove for the Xfinity team for Stewart-Haas last year, made the championship 4, won a lot of races. Unfortunately, he didn't win that championship, but this year he's given a big opportunity to drive for the number 14 car, to be teammates with Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, and Cole Custer. And I think the future is bright for Stewart-Haas Racing with 2 young, promising stars in Clint Bowyer and Chase Briscoe and Cole Custer to take Stewart-Haas to a new level when the time comes for Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola to step away from the race car, which won't be anytime soon, but these guys are about to show that they are the future of Stewart-Haas Racing, and I can't wait to see what they do. And then Christopher Bell is leaving Levine Family Racing after they shut down at the end of last year, and he's finally going to Joe Gibbs Racing's Cup team and driving the number 20 car. He will be with Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin all season. This is a big opportunity for Bell. He's finally in one of the top-tier Toyota teams, and I think he can bring the 20 team back to where they used to do a couple years ago when Matt Kenseth was behind the wheel, winning races. So what does that mean for Eric Jones? He's out of the 20 car. He announced last summer he wouldn't be back with them. Well, he's going to the famed number 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports and a Chevrolet. The first time that Eric Jones is driving anything other than a Toyota in NASCAR. And I think he'll make the most out of this opportunity to elevate himself, a new beginning for him, a new beginning for RBM, now that Bubba Wallace is no longer the team, and I'll explain where he's going in a little bit. This is a big moment for Eric Jones. He's got some sponsorship lined up for this team. He's got the Air Force, he's got Armor all back, and that car sponsor will be on his car for the Daytona 500 this upcoming week, so if you see an orange 43, that's Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones will make the most out of this 43 car. I think he'll be fairly competitive, and he'll help bring the 43 car hopefully back to where they used to be many, many years ago, up front, battling for top 5s, top 10s, and maybe even some race wins. Number 3, brand new teams and a couple of familiar faces in those new teams. We've got a brand new team in 2311 Racing, a team that's owned by Denny Hamlin and 6-time NBA champion, Pro Basketball Hall of Famer, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. The Michael Jordan, who won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, is now a NASCAR owner. Folks, I'm so excited for this, to have one of the most popular sports figures in all of sports run a NASCAR team. And he said, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here to win races and win championships. And Michael Jordan's been a fan of NASCAR since he was a little kid, so this is just awesome. And they've got Bubba Wallace as their driver for this year. They've got a lot of sponsorship lined up in DoorDash, Columbia Sportswear. I think Coca-Cola will be with them. McDonald's will be with them. I mean, having Michael Jordan come to be an owner of NASCAR is phenomenal. It's what we needed to build viewership from the minority side, especially, you know, African Americans. They all watch the NFL, they watch the NBA. Well, we can attract some of those fans that have never seen a NASCAR race before over to NASCAR because Michael Jordan's now a team owner in the series. I just think it's phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what this team does. I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but I expect them to be very competitive this season, and by next year when the next-gen car is released, I expect that team to possibly make the playoffs. Now, would I be shocked if this team were to win a race this year? Not really, because they've got backing from Joe Gibbs Racing and TRD with engines and cars. Because, for one thing, Denny Hamlin is the co-owner of that team. And, by the way, Denny Hamlin just signed an extension with Gibbs. He'll be with them for a couple more years. So, I'm looking forward to see what 2311 Racing with Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin all together. I'm excited to see what these guys do. And then another team that's introduced is Trackhouse Racing, a team that's owned by former NASCAR road course expert Justin Marks. This team is focused towards a diversity of Latinos, and they're having Daniel Suarez come aboard as the driver, and a team that will get Richard Childress engines. This is a big opportunity for Suarez. Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention? Pitbull, the famous American rapper, is going to be a co-owner of this team as well. This is awesome. I mean, we got, as I mentioned, a big sports figure, Michael Jordan, one of the most popular musicians in all of music, and Pitbull owning NASCAR teams. What is 2021 so far? I mean, this is awesome. I'm excited for Pitbull. I'm glad to have him here. By the way, he will be the Grand Marshal for the Daytona 500 a week from tomorrow. So that's going to be so exciting. And I'm excited to have Pitbull on board NASCAR. And I think Suarez will have a very competitive 2021 season, and he'll have an even better 2022 season next year with the next-gen car. And then we have two more teams. Spire Motorsports has added a second entry this year, and they will have Corey LaJoie behind the wheel. This team will get backing from Hendrick Engines, and I think this team will be better than usual because LaJoie is a good driver. I mean, even in not so top equipment like Hendrick or Stuart Haas or Gibbs or Penske, Corey LaJoie can make the most out of some of these cars, and I think he'll do a great job with the number 7 for Spire Motorsports, a team that does have a charter for both entries. The second entry will be piloted by Jamie McMurray in the Daytona 500, and it's already been announced that Justin Haley will run a couple races in the 77 team this year. So I'm excited to see what Spire Motorsports does. And then we have Live Fast Motorsports, a brand new team that is basically taking over Go Fast Racing, which no longer is running full-time. They're still going to run a couple races, but not full season. They're going to have BJ McLeod, who is a co-owner of this team, drive the car for the full season. The other co-owner is Matt Tifft. You all remember that guy? The guy with the brain tumor, guy that hadn't been in the car since 2019 because he's developed so many seizures, so he's not allowed to be in the driving, not just a race car, but just a car in general. I think until June. I don't expect Matt Tifft to maybe return into a NASCAR car till 2022 when the next-gen car comes out. So I hope Matt Tiff's doing well. I'm excited to see what he and McLeod do as a pair running this team. This team's going to get some backing from Storehouse Racing. Don't expect them to be anywhere near like what 2311 Racing is, what Trackhouse Racing is, or even the second Spire car with Corey LaJoie. But I think they'll look to have a fairly good season for the most part. So can't wait to see what that happens. And then number 4, we've got brand new racetracks, and we've got new configurations on some of the existing tracks. I mean, goodness gracious of me, this might be the best racing schedule we've had in a long time. So right after the Daytona 500, we're going to go do the Daytona Road Course. That was not originally in the schedule because California will not open things up thanks to Governor Newsom. We are going to be forced to replace Auto Club Speedway with the Daytona Road Course. So Auto Club will have to hold off on their short track reconfiguration till 2023. So next year, hopefully when things go back to normal in California, next year we'll have fans over for the 2-mile track at Auto Club before it gets reconfigured to a short track for 2023. So we're going to have the road course at Daytona after the 500. Then we're going to go to Homestead, literally after both Daytona races. That's pretty cool. We got 3 weeks of racing in Florida. Well, actually it's 4.5 weeks if you think about it. 3.5 weeks if you think about it because of speed weeks. And then we're going to have, of course, the West Coast swing with Las Vegas and then Phoenix. Then we're going to go to Atlanta. They got a second date for Cup in Atlanta this year, replacing Kentucky. Darlington's getting a second date in the spring, and it'll be on Mother's Day weekend, and it will have the throwback tradition there. NASCAR's returning back to Nashville Speedway for the first time in 10 years. Cup Series racing will make their debut there in late June, where NBC will take over for the first race of their season. We've got new road courses this year. We got Circuit of the Americas, COTA in short term, track that has hosted IndyCar and Formula One races. We've got Road America on the Cup schedule. We've got the Indianapolis road course replacing the oval configuration. We've just got so many road course races this year. That's why I think Chase Elliott's going to win all those road courses and just have at least a 6-7 win season. But another big change, the spring race in Bristol is going to be on dirt. Dirt racing in Bristol? I'm so excited for that race, which presents a big opportunity for dirt racers like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. It gives those two the advantage over everybody else to have a chance to win that race. It's going to be so much fun. We'll have heat races to set the starting grid in those events. I'm just so excited for the Bristol dirt race. That's going to be a fun race to watch. And number 5, Clint Bowyer. He retired. So where does he go from here? Broadcasting. Clint Bowyer will be a part of the NASCAR on Fox family this year, calling races in the booth with Mike Joy and one Jeff Gordon. And if y'all remember what happened to Gordon and Bowyer at Phoenix in 2012, you get the gist of it. But Clint Bowyer and Jeff Gordon will be Fox teammates this year. They've gotten much better as far as the relationship goes after that incident. They have a couple jabs here and there, but it's just friendly banter. And I'm so excited for Clint Bowyer to come onto this Fox crew because this is something that Fox lacked last year with only a 2-man booth. Now we get a 3-man booth back, and Clint Bowyer brings so much humor to this because Clint Bowyer is a hilarious guy, and he's also bringing insight because he's very knowledgeable about these race cars as well, because he's called some Xfinity races in the past when he was a guest analyst for some of these Xfinity races. I'm excited for Clint Bowyer to be on the Fox family this year. I'm looking forward to see what he does with Jeff Gordon and Mike Joy. All I know is this will help bring the ratings back up, I think, for Fox, because we've got a comedic and knowledgeable person in Clint Bowyer calling these races. I'm so excited. And his first NASCAR call will be the Daytona 500. I can't believe it. This is going to be amazing. And Fox already released a little teaser commercial previewing NASCAR this year on the new circuits, the stars, the Jeff Gordon and Clint Bowyer appearing in the Fox booth, racing in Bristol, racing on the road courses. They say this could be the greatest NASCAR season ever. I surely hope so, because all these storylines are just getting me going, baby. I cannot wait for February 14th, Valentine's Day, to roll around for the 63rd running of the Daytona 500. This is going to be a great season. Now, understand that most of these races in the early portion of the year will have little to no fans because we're still dealing with COVID, sadly. But we will have 30,000 fans in attendance for the Daytona 500. We'll have a couple fans in attendance for some of the other races this year, and hopefully by the end of the year there will be races where we have full capacity, or at least 75% capacity, because we need fans back in the stands, because that's what keeps NASCAR going. Other than just the cars going fast at 200 plus miles per hour on super speedways, or beating and banging on the short tracks, or turning left and right on the road courses, or slinging it sideways in the dirt at Bristol, the fans keep us going, and we got to get them back as soon as possible. But folks, the NASCAR season is officially back, and I cannot wait for the season to get started this upcoming Tuesday night with the Busch Clash. On the road course configuration, I might add. So I will preview the Busch Clash on Wednesday. I'll also preview qualifying. I'll preview the Blue-Green Vacation Duels on Thursday. And, of course, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series returns next Friday. And we've got the NASCAR Xfinity Series returning next Saturday. And, of course, the Cup Series Sunday the 14th, the Daytona 500. I cannot wait for it. Also, if you're a football fan, just a quick note, tomorrow is the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking the Chiefs because I trust Patrick Mahomes more than I trust Tom Brady, even as a 6-time Super Bowl champ. He's just going to be standing in the pocket while Mahomes is just running left and right and flinging it to Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and Watkins and those guys. I trust the Chiefs more than I do the Buccaneers. That's my pick for the Super Bowl. But, ladies and gentlemen, NASCAR is back, and I'm excited to bring you along this season with the 2021 NASCAR year. So subscribe, like. NASCAR is officially back. Let's go racing, baby. Here we go.